I was born and raised in Bourke. My mum's a teacher, my dad's a shearer. I'm from two tribes, the Bourke tribe, which is out in outback New South Wales, near Ivanhoe and Wilcannia, and I'm also part of the Nuddenderry tribe, which is the coast of South Australia. I did most of my schooling in Bourke up until year 10. Growing up in Bourke was one of the best experiences I had. I had the best childhood. I couldn't have wished for any better. Fishing and camping and swimming in the river and just hanging out on weekends with my family. I was very lucky. I was very nurtured. I had a lot of strong women around me growing up. I had my mother and my grandmother who lived with me. I also had my dad as a shearer, going to work with him some days and doing a bit of rouseabouting. I got to appreciate how hard he worked and how difficult it was to not have an education and not have anything else no backup plan basically, because shearing was his life. And then I came to boarding school in Glebe for 2 years to do my HSC at St Scholastica's College. And it was at St Scholes that there were some teachers who actually got me to think about university. It was never something that was a part of my agenda or my plan. Actually, someone took me aside and said, this is something that you can think about. You will really love university. You love learning. This is something that you will really enjoy. And I sort of would like to provide that opportunity for young girls now in my community and in other Indigenous communities. There's not a lot of other things that can get you out of the community or get you opportunities to explore the rest of the world or, you know, to build on skills that you already have. So I think I would like to be part of that. I would like to see more young Indigenous girls educated and in roles of leadership. I started thinking about what my interests really were and what sort of things I wanted to be involved in. So I wanted to know my rights, my legal rights. I wanted to be able to help other people and inform them of what their rights and responsibilities were as well. So my teachers basically said you'd need to do law for that. So luckily I got into law through the Cadetship program at the University of Sydney. I did struggle for a while at uni, not having a lot of work experience in this area, not having a lot of contacts in the legal area. So with some reassurances from a barrister that I work for, I applied for the winter clerkship at Allens for Indigenous students. It's probably one of the best things I did. And from my time at Allens, I actually approached the firm to take me on as a cadet under the National Indigenous Cadetship program. And from there, I've had my ongoing relationship with Allens. And now I'm coming back this year to work part-time as a paralegal under the cadetship until I finish my studies this year. All my experience was from a different side of the law, seeing friends or peers or family going to court. That was my only real experience of the law. So coming to study it at Sydney Uni was a very big change. I guess I sort of fell into law because I did get into it, but it wasn't until I built some work experience up and built my networks up and contacts up that I actually felt that I belonged here. This is something that I really want to do. Currently I'm involved in a group called WATSA. It's the Women's College Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Alliance. WATSA has two main aims. The first is to get young Indigenous girls in Indigenous communities to think about university as a possibility and to also encourage them to finish their HSC. And the other aim is to encourage non-Indigenous students here at the Women's College that go to Sydney University to be more involved in Indigenous issues in a positive way. Allens actually came to our fundraising breakfast and it was really, really important for me to have them there. And it was very special because it sort of linked my connection to Allens and to the college and to the group I was involved with. It was really special. When I was younger and I'd go home on university holiday breaks, I would sometimes get some negative feedback from some of my peers, mainly girls. I was just trying to make a better future for myself and for my family. And pursuing my sort of interests and my sort of goals. Now that people see me in the courts at home with the Aboriginal Legal Service, I'm working with the lawyers and being quite involved in the court proceedings. I've got a lot of positive feedback and a lot of positive, responses from a lot of people in the community, especially Indigenous people, because they now see me being more involved in the community itself. I've got an ongoing commitment to Bourke, especially to young Indigenous people, and I focus on young Indigenous girls because I have a personal connection to that. One time when I was in the main street at home, I had a young Indigenous girl run up to me and say, "Kristy, are you still at uni? And I said, yeah, I'm still there. I know I've been there for a while, but I'm almost finished. And she goes, no, it's just because I'm wanting to study too. I want to do nursing. But, you have to go to university and, it's really scary. And I said, look, it'll be fine. Once you get there and you get started, you get on a roll and you really learn to love it. And, you can always come back here. You've always got your family here and the community's here. But, you need to take some risks sometimes, and going to university is like a risk, but it's a good risk that pays off in the end. But having this young Koori girl come up to me and say, I'm really happy for you, you're doing really well, and to say that I'm interested in university now, it really, really touched my heart, because I didn't have a lot of other people to look up to when I was young that were Indigenous, who were actually engaging with university, who were, visible in the community. So for me, if I can do that in some way for any Indigenous kid in my community, I'm more than willing to be that person. So that was a good story. When Alan's Arthur Robinson implemented the Reconciliation Action Plan, it was such a positive thing for me. Not only was I happy that I was able to participate in the Indigenous Winter Clerkship, and then also to become an Indigenous cadet with Alan's, I was really thrilled that Alan's actually made the official step to being to making the commitment to reconciliation and to Indigenous issues in general. So for me, it was more, this was like the final step that needed to be taken. So you'd taken some smaller steps in terms of the Winter Clerkship and then the cadetship, and then this was like the end point, I guess, because now you have more freedom to be more involved in Indigenous issues or work on programs here at the firm, but also to be recognised for your commitment to Indigenous issues and to Indigenous programs. And now I guess I'm even more prouder to be an Indigenous cadet here, because Alan's is so committed through its Reconciliation Action Plan, and it's evident for everyone to see now.